make sure you guys can see the board because we're going to be using it today, actually. I'm going to be taking this down and using the board. So make sure you guys can see okay. All right. Okay, welcome to day 3. How are you guys? I'm excited to be with you guys today for our third and final day of our Your Best Year Yet 2023 workshop. I feel like today might be the juiciest day, so I hope you're ready. So if you have not watched the first 2, like I said in yesterday's video, you can still be with us today and still watch live and still watch this video today, but I want you to make sure you go back and watch the first and the second, because each day builds on the next, and each day I have you take actions, and there's like homework that goes, I don't like saying homework because people cringe, but it's good for you homework. It's feel good homework that you will enjoy. So there are actions and homework that go with each day. So just a quick recap. On day 1, we talked about your vision, okay? So visiting your future self, which you're gonna hit on today as well, another way to use your future self, that exercise, that tool. So we talked about your future self. We talked about actually creating a vision from visiting your future and creating like a vision of what you want your next year to look like. Then we talked about your reason why, which is really like the big motivator. It's like putting gas in your car. When things get hard, that's what will keep you going. And then yesterday, we took that vision and we broke it down into goals. We talked about there's good ideas and then there's effective goals. So yesterday, you should have set up your year. Super exciting. We set up our year. Each quarter, we picked 1 to 3 areas, and we picked 3 goals to correlate with those areas, and we kind of had a whole layout of our year. So today, we're going to build on that, and we're going to actually make an action plan out of your goals, okay? So when we make goals, it can seem like kind of overwhelming, right? Like, how are we going to get that goal? Well, today we're going to break that down. We're going to make an action plan, and we're going to overcome obstacles. So this is going to be a great day here. So first, I just want to cover what we are going to go over today. So in today, again, we're going to make an action plan and overcome obstacles. So first, I'm going to talk to you guys about something called mind mapping. And this is where we're just going to get everything out, all the actions that we want to do, we're going to get it out. It's called a process called mind mapping. Then we're going to talk about actually scheduling. Then we will talk about something called an obstacle ladder. And then I want to talk to you guys about something called the goal cycle. Okay, the cycle we go through when we set goals. And then I'll talk to you guys about how you can make success inevitable, like guaranteed. So first I want to talk about something called mind mapping, and maybe you are familiar with this and maybe you're not. So mind mapping is amazing. I found it so effective in actually getting things done. It really simplifies things and helps us like look at that big goal and simplify it into action steps, okay? So again, remember I said yesterday, there's good ideas, and then there's effective goals, and then there's action plans, okay? So I feel like that's like how it go, like that's those are the steps we kind of go through. So our good idea would be like, I want to start a business, right? And our effective goal would be like, I want to have, I don't know what kind of business, but I want to have my business started by September 1st, or I'll have my doors open by September 1st. And then your action plan is, okay, how am I going to open my doors? What do I have to do to have my doors open on September 1st? And that's where this would come in. This is like creating your action plan. So what you do is you put your goal within this circle, okay? So your goal goes in here, and I'm going to take this board down, and I'm going to do a couple examples with you guys, okay? So you put your goal in this circle. I want you guys to get out a piece of paper and actually do this. It's so powerful. Put your goal in a circle, and then you're going to have spokes coming off of your circle, and these are going to be the different actions that you need to take in order to achieve this goal. And under each like spoke is an action, okay? But then under it, I put subcategory, because sometimes we're going to have a spoke and we're going to have an action, and then we're going to need like subcategories, right? Like to reach that action. And I'm going to take this board off, and I'm going to do a couple just examples with you guys to show you how mind mapping works, okay? So I'm going to use an example of one that I I actually did. I was looking through my note cards and I saw mind mapping. I still have all my notes. So I'm going to take just an example. So my goal, my good idea was I want to have a podcast. Like I would love to start a podcast. And I thought about that for years. And I had people tell me, you should do a podcast. And so I had this idea in my head. It was a good idea, right? Like we have all these good ideas. I want to start a business. I want to do a podcast. Okay, but then again, I went to the next step, which was a goal. Okay, so then I made a goal and I said, okay, by September 15th, 2021, I'm going to have my first 3 podcasts done. And then all of a sudden my brain was like, whoa, that went from a good idea to an actual goal. And then it gets like, whoa, like now I have to think of all the way, like it can seem overwhelming. So mind mapping breaks it down and simplifies it. So if my goal is, and I hope you guys can see this okay. So my goal is 3 podcast, and I'm a lefty, so I'm trying not to smear the thing here. 3 podcast episodes by September 15th, okay? So then I'm going to make a spoke out here. I'm going to make spokes, and I'm going to say, okay, so I'm going to take this goal that might seem overwhelming, and I'm going to break it down. So if I want to have 3 podcast episodes, and I knew nothing about a podcast, okay? I knew nothing about doing a podcast. So I was like, okay, I'm going to need to look at different apps to start a podcast. And then under here in my subcategories, I might put, okay, I looked at Anchor. I looked at a couple different ones, okay? Then up here, I'm going to put, okay, and these are in no order right now. Then I'm like, okay, I'm going to need to do a cover art for my podcast. Okay, so under here, my subcategories, I might be like, pick a picture, okay? Maybe download Canva. Okay. Here I need to pick a title for my podcast. I need to maybe figure out advertising. So under here again, I could put, okay, Facebook, Insta, run an ad on Buzzsprout. Okay. So as you can see, like, how about make a list of topics. Okay. So as you can see, right, my goal is 3 podcast episodes by September 15th, but then I know I'm going to have to do all of these things in order to get that goal, okay? So it's taking a good idea, I want a podcast, and then progressing to a goal, and then progressing to mind mapping it and actually making an action plan. So now I didn't put all of them, obviously, like all of the things I needed to do, but I'm just trying to give you guys an idea here. So what about if we did, I'm going to do one more for you guys. So what if your goal was, okay, what if your goal is like, I will weigh 125 pounds by whatever, March 31st. Okay, so there's the goal in the middle. You put your goal in the middle. And then what are all these? So, okay, I want to lose weight is the good idea. I will weigh 125 pounds by March 31st. Again, effective goal setting, how much and by when. Then what are my actions? Okay, I'm going to have to change the way I eat. Okay, so change diet, how about? And then under there, maybe you're going to say, I don't know what, I'm going to count my macros. I'm going to look up recipes. Okay, I'm going to, whatever, all of your things. I'm going to, whatever. Join Weight Watchers. Put all your like subcategories in here. I'm gonna, how about exercise? I want to move my body, so exercise. Okay, maybe under here I join the gym. I don't like the gym, but I'm just putting that up here for you guys. Maybe I get a treadmill, whatever. Maybe I walk my dog. Okay, I'm going to put all the different things in here, okay? So again, your goal goes in the middle, and then what are all of your different actions? Because that's, right, good ideas, I want to lose weight. Great goal is I will weigh this by this, okay? But then that seems overwhelming, right? But how am I going to do that? What are all the actions that you need to take? And this is where mind mapping, it really breaks it down into like smaller action steps that we can like achieve, okay? So those are the 2 examples I'm going to use. But do it with anything, right? I'm going to go, how about I want to be going on one date night. Maybe your good idea was to improve your relationship with your spouse. And your goal is, I'm going to go on one date night per month, okay? And then your actions are, okay, I want to set up a sitter. I want to get a sitter on the books. I want to find a list. I want to make a list of all the great places that we can go on a date, right? All these fun ideas. I want to talk to my husband, sit down and talk to my husband and make sure we're both on board, right? I want to put it in my calendar, put a recurring date on my calendar. So you can do the mind map with anything, okay? So that's how you do that. Let me get to my right page here. Okay, so whatever your goal is, do your mind map, get all of your actions, simplify it. What are the actions that you need to take? And then what we're going to do is take all of these actions. So you're going to look at your piece of paper with all of these different actions. Remember, this is just like dumping your brain out. You're not trying to edit them or put them in any order. You're just putting out what are all the things I need to do to reach this goal. And then we're going to take all these actions and we're going to organize the actions in chronological order. So like when I talked about my podcast episode, like my podcast example, I had to say, okay, what are the first things when I look at all these actions that there's so much to do, what are the first things I need to do? Okay, I need to pick probably an app, like pick a server, pick somewhere I'm going to host my podcast. I need to give it a title. Okay, I need to think of topics. Like I had to put everything in order. I had get equipment, right? I had to get a microphone and get equipment for it, okay? Get a recording software, okay? So I had to do all of these things, but I had to put it in order. So what are the first things first? And then once you have these all in chronological order, you actually put them into your calendar. So remember I talked about the quarters where you're gonna have your goals. I want you guys to actually, and I know I'm gonna get some people here, but I have been forever changed by getting a paper calendar. It has changed everything for me. Okay, like I look at my quarter and it's something about having it on paper, and I know it's almost 2023 and there's lots of apps out there and everything. I don't know why, but I have a calendar from Erin Condren, and it's like I can keep it open. It has like a bungee cord. It's always open. I can always see it. At the beginning of the month, I put all my like goals in there. So when you have your quarter and you have your goals, then you have your action steps. You're going to put them into your calendar. Okay, and I put paper calendar here. This is like your bonus, but you're welcome. Try the paper calendar. Okay, so put all of your things into chronological order on your calendar. And all of a sudden, it becomes not this big goal. It becomes this achievable thing because it's broken down into, you're like, you look at your week and like, okay, this is the week I pick an app. This is the week I make my cover, right? I make my art cover, still using my podcast example. Okay, I have to pick a picture. I have to, make it in Canva. Like this is the week I do that. And then all of a sudden we take this big goal that seems so overwhelming, or it's like, whatever. You might be looking for a relationship and you're like, I want to have a relationship. I want to find someone by, 6 months from now. And so it's like, okay, what are my actions, right? Maybe I need to get on a dating app. Maybe I need to pick dating apps as one of my actions. Maybe I need to make a profile. Maybe I need to ask people, hey, do you know anyone? Like maybe my action is I'm going to go on 20 dates in the next 2 months. Okay, like what are your actions to get there instead of it being this overwhelming thing like I need to find someone, right? Or I want my doors open to my business by the 15th. It's like we get overwhelmed by these goals, right? Where it's this will help you break it down and it's like this week I'm doing this day I'm doing this, and then all of a sudden we start to get closer and closer to that goal. It's done. It's on the calendar. We're getting it done. And the feeling of relief it brings is invaluable too, because you're like, no, I got this. It's getting done. It's not this thing that's hanging over my head that I should be doing, okay? So you're going to organize your actions in chronological order. You're going to put them into your calendar, paper calendar, bonus, and then here comes the hard part. Stick to your calendar, okay? That's the third step here, is sticking to your calendar. This is where we get stuck, right? Because we get to that thing we're supposed to do on the calendar and we don't feel like it, right? We're tired, or it's just we don't know how to do it, right? So this is the hard part. We're going to get to that in a second, okay? Oh, and another thing I wanted to tell you guys with mind mapping, because I said you can use your future self. Remember I taught you guys the future self exercise in the first day, and I said I was going to have you guys do something else with that. That comes in super handy during this process, during the mind mapping process. So sometimes when we have a goal, we just think, I don't know how to do that, right? I don't know what actions to take. And this might sound foo-foo, but I'm telling you, it works. Visit your future self that already has all of those things. Like really sink into that, be there, present, envision it, feel being that person. Ask how they got there. Like, okay, you're here, you're thin, you have this business, you have this partner, like whatever your goal is, it's like ask yourself, ask your future self, how did you get here? How did you do this? And you will be shocked at how much you really know, like what comes out, okay? Because you do know the actions it takes. Your brain is just like scared and overwhelmed and doesn't want to go there and doesn't believe, so it's like blocking you. Ask yourself. You will come up with so many things and write all those actions down and mind map it. These things like stick. All right. So now I want to talk about an obstacle ladder, okay? Because again, like I said yesterday, the only thing that stands between you and what you want, okay? You and that relationship, you and that money, you and that business, you and that, friendships and whatever it is, okay? The only thing, that weight, that body, all that stands between you and what you want are the obstacles in between, okay? We hit those obstacles and we get stuck. So this is something called an obstacle ladder. This is something I do with my clients within my program, my Life in the Driver's Seat program. So what we want to do is we want to brainstorm those before they come, okay? Because what happens is we hit these obstacles and we're just like, oh, we can't do it. And we tell ourselves it's impossible, okay? We want to brainstorm these obstacles so that we can brainstorm ways to overcome and plan for those, okay? So this is called an obstacle ladder. So on a piece of paper, I want you guys to write your goal here, okay? Like I want, again, I want to be going on one date night per week. I want to, have a partner by whatever. So put your goal here, your effective goal, and then on each rung of this ladder, I want you guys to put an obstacle that you see coming up. Okay, so maybe you want to, we'll go back to just, I want to be going on one date a night a week. Maybe it'll be like the obstacle will be, the sitter could cancel, right? That could be an obstacle. And then it would be like, oh, we just can't go. Okay, so maybe your solution, because here you're going to put your obstacles, and then in this ladder, and on top of each rung, I want you guys to brainstorm all of the solutions, the ways that you can stop that from, you can premeditate how you're going to deal with that, okay? So put your solution ideas here, and then what happens is we get to our goal, right? All of these solutions become the ladder we climb to get to our goal, okay? So maybe you say, okay, the sitter could cancel. So what would be my solution to that? Okay, maybe I need to have a backup sitter, okay? Maybe I need to find more than one sitter. Or maybe it'll be, we'll be too tired or something. So maybe you need to brainstorm solutions to that. You need to think of thoughts that you can think, like no matter how tired I am, I'm going to invest, this is worth investing in myself. Maybe you think of affirmations that you can tell yourself. Maybe you and your husband sign something that says no matter how tired we are at the end of the day, we're sticking to our date night. That's worth it to our, just think of solutions to get you through the things that you see coming up and getting you stuck and keeping you from your goal. So that is the obstacle ladder. I'm not going to go into more examples with that. I think you guys get the point. If it's losing weight, might be I'm going to feel hungry, okay? Desire, okay? It might be I don't want to feel desire. I don't want to feel that feeling. It's like we can practice. I teach my clients how to actually feel that and be okay with that. Right? Most people are like, I don't want to feel desire. They're scared of that. It's like, no, we can learn to lean in. Sorry, I'm getting so many phone calls. Hopefully that's not cutting out the video. Okay. And maybe it'll be being hungry and you're like, okay, well then I'm going to keep snacks in my purse, or I'm going to make sure to eat every 2.5 hours. Whatever it is, I want you guys to brainstorm ways to get through that. So now I want to talk to you guys about something called the goal cycle. Okay, and this is why most people fail. So lots of people set goals, right? Lots of people set goals. This isn't an uncommon thing, especially when the new year comes. People have resolutions, they make goals, they're excited. So why do most people fail? And that's the truth, most people do fail. And why is that? Why aren't people progressing and growing and hitting their goals and living the life that they really want to live? And it's because of something called the goal cycle. So what happens is we set a goal and we're super excited about it, right? We're excited for change, we're excited for growth. And then what happens is we feel hard emotion. At first we're so excited. And at first, our excitement and our motivation will like help us push through that, right? We'll push through those hard emotions because we're so excited. But eventually what happens is we get tired, right? We hit the hard emotions. We're done feeling the hard emotions. We don't have the wherewithal. We spin our wheels until we're exhausted, and then we inevitably quit. Okay? Set the goal excited, feel hard emotion, feel hard emotion, feel hard emotion, and this is what it takes, right, to get to success. But we can't feel this. We're not equipped to feel it. Most people are not, absolutely not equipped for it, and then they quit. And then what this leads to, this cycle, is the belief that they're not capable, right? You start to believe like, okay, well, I've set goals before and then I always quit, okay? And you start to believe, that becomes your belief and your identity inside, that you're not the person that's made to be an entrepreneur. You're not the person that's made to make money. You're not the person who's made to be thin. You're not the person who's made to be in a relationship, like a healthy relationship. Like you're not the person who's cut out to be the great parent, okay? And that starts to become our identity and our belief, and it's just because we've gone through this cycle so many times. And I want to explain to you, and I go deep into this in my program, into all of this, but I teach my clients like deeply, like how the human brain works, okay? So the human brain is not wired for growth. And my clients I've had so many people like, oh, like they don't like that. They don't like when I say it, they don't believe it, but it is true and it will unlock so much for you. Okay, your brain is not wired for growth. Your brain is literally wired to keep you safe. Okay, so what used to keep us safe, how we were made, it's a perfectly working brain. There's nothing wrong with you. It's just we have to learn how it works and learn to get it working for us versus the other way around. And most people don't realize how their brain's wired, how it's pushing them, and they don't know how to work their brain for themselves. Okay, so your brain is wired to keep you safe. It is not wired for growth. Your brain actually sees growth as danger. Okay, it's like stay safe, stay where you are, we're surviving, we're alive. Change actually means like we could die. It's very unsafe. It's painful to grow, okay? So your brain is always working in three ways, and it's driving you in three ways. It's always driving you to seek pleasure and avoid pain and expend minimal effort, okay? So seek pleasure is like, I want that alcohol, right? I want that sugar. I want that chocolate. Okay, that's why it's so hard to lose weight, because we can avoid pain and seek pleasure at the same time. Like, I don't have to feel stress. I don't have to feel shame. I can just eat this ice cream, and I can overeat, and it makes me feel so good for a little bit. Okay, it's a false pleasure, but that's your brain. It's like its primitive drive is to do that. It's to have you seeking pleasure and have you avoiding pain. And then the third thing is it's always wanting to expend minimal effort so that it can do the other two. It wants to like put out the least effort possible so that it can go seek pleasure and avoid pain, okay? So, and then here where we see expend minimal effort, this is where you see yourself get into habits, okay? So like habits are your brain just memorizing things, and it's like, nope, we're gonna stay doing things, we're gonna be efficient, we're gonna keep doing things the same way. And that again makes growth very difficult for us. So I want to talk about how to make success inevitable. So if you are someone who's watching this and you've gone through this these 3 days in the process, and you're ready, you have your goals all set up, and maybe you've done this before and you failed, okay? Like you've set goals in the past, you fail, you've gone through that cycle that I just talked about. Again, it's not your fault, it's just like your brain, and it's like where most people are, right? Like most people are stuck in that cycle. So I want to talk about how to make success inevitable and how to actually change that so that this time is different for you. So what are most people missing? Okay, so most people are missing 3 things, like the right system. So it's the right things to do in the right order. Okay, so most people don't know what to do and in what order. So they're like, I would change, but I don't know what to do. So they don't have the right system in place. Number 2, they don't have the right support. Okay, so the right support is someone that is listening to you, someone who lets you speak and uncover things that are really keeping you stuck so that you can actually make a difference, right? Actually make a change, actually do things differently. And then the third thing is accountability. And I think of this as like the tough love, right? Like the accountability that's like when things do get hard, when we have no accountability, it becomes very easy for us to just say no and again, go through that cycle again and just quit on ourselves and not say yes to ourselves and to our change, okay? So the right system, the right support, and the right accountability. And here I put, this is the cycle that I'm helping my clients get into. It's so awesome. I've gotten so many awesome like reviews just lately, people giving me such awesome feedback, but it's like, this is the cycle that I teach my clients. Okay, we set a goal, we get coached. Okay, so before, like I said, it was you set a goal and then you feel hard emotion and then you quit, right? When you're in coaching, when you're getting coached on a weekly basis, it will change your life. You go set a goal and then instead when you hit that hard emotion, you get coached. Okay, this is where everything changes. And then instead of quitting, you succeed. So you set a goal, when things get hard, you get coached and you succeed. And it changes everything. It's like what makes the difference. It has for me 100%. And I was going to tell you guys, I was going to go back to, I will. Okay. So I want to offer you guys all three of these things. That is what coaching will do for you. It will absolutely change your life. It's like, oh, I remember what I wanted to get back to, but it's like remember when I talked about feeling the feelings now? So when you go to your future self and you feel those feelings, and I said, you have to bring those back into your present. Okay, so you go to your future self who has all of those things and they're feeling what? They're feeling motivated and excited, right? They're feeling proud. They're feeling all of those things. And we think when we get there, we'll feel that way. And remember, I taught you guys, like, no, the secret is to bring those feelings into right now and feel them now in your current life in order to create that. Okay. And like I said, you fall out of that. And it's like my coach is always like, you're going to fall out of it. You're going to fall out of it. And that's when you come back and you get coached and you get back into that. And that is how I've grown my business. It's like how I'm doing everything right now. It's like coaching has changed my life. It is the thing that actually made the difference. And I'm seeing it in my clients' life every day. So it's like, as much as you get to that hard emotion and you fall out of it, you just get coached, you get back into it. And as much as we can be in those emotions, in the excitement, in the proud feelings, in the awe, in the motivation, that's when, as much as we can take action from that place, the more results we're able to create and the more our goals we're able to achieve. Okay? So again, you set a goal, you get coached, you stay in the emotion that you need to be in. Instead of the hard emotion, you learn to feel that and you learn to generate. So it's like two things. You learn to feel the hard emotion that most people don't want to feel, and so they quit. You learn to feel that, and you learn to generate the feelings that will keep you in this cycle, okay? And that's what leads to success. And like I said, I want to offer you all three of these, the right system, the right support, the right accountability, so you can get into this cycle and not the old goal cycle that we just talked about that most people are stuck in. So when I talk about system, I just quickly want to tell you guys about my Life in the Driver's Seat program. This is my system, the TFPG method, and this is the right steps in the right order, and I really want to emphasize that, in the right order. Okay, so here's where most people want to start. They want to make their goals, they want to grow, they want to change, but this, in order for this, what we just talked about, in order for this to be effective and actually be in the cycle that we just talked about, this is the foundational work that needs to be done so that this time it works. This time you have success with your goals and you change your life. You move forward changing your life. This is the foundational work. So the first thing we do is we learn to think. We learn to think on purpose. We learn to think thoughts that change our identity, change who we are, change how we show up to take the action. Okay, because again, we want to start here and we just want to be the better partner and lose the weight and start the business, but we're still thinking all of the things like we're not made to be thin, or we're not made to be in a good relationship, we're not made to make money. We're thinking all of these things, but then we're trying to take all these actions and set all these goals. We need to learn to think on purpose, to uncover what we currently believe and what we're currently thinking, and then question that, and then decide purposely what we want to think instead. What do we want to think? Because that is going to it's going to change our identity. It's going to change how we show up to take the actions, all the actions we just talked about. They become effortless when we learn to think on purpose and change our identity, change on that level. The next thing we do is we learn to feel on purpose. So like I just talked about in that cycle, most people set a goal and then they feel hard emotion and they quit. We learn to feel the hard emotion. We learn to lean into the hard emotion. It will change your life. Learning to lean in and not run from all of the hard emotion that it takes to grow will absolutely 100% change how you're reaching your goals, change how you're achieving and how you're meeting goals in your life. So feeling on purpose, this also means that we learn to generate feelings. So like I talked about, you want to feel motivated, you want to feel excited, you want to stay in that feeling and take action from there. This is how you do it. You learn to generate those feelings on purpose. Because I have people all the time. I had someone just yesterday tell me, well, I'm having trouble with motivation. Like that's the thing. And it's like, oh, of course you are. Of course everyone does, right? But it's who can learn to generate motivation. We think when we get the motivation, if we just had that motivation, then we could reach the goal. Then we could do these things that we really want to do. And it's like, no, of course you're going to struggle and fall out of motivation. It's who can learn to generate it on purpose. And that's what we learn to do within the program. Number 3, we learn to prioritize. And this is where we learn time management. Becomes very hard to do all these goals that we talked about and like all of these actions. When I said, okay, put those all on your calendar, it's like, ooh, well, I can't fit all of that. I can't fit that into my calendar, right? It's because we don't manage our time. And again, we want to start here. We want to like change our life, but we're not thinking the thoughts or feeling the feelings that enable us to do that. And our life is filled with the mundane and the urgent things that it becomes very hard for us to create change from there. So the third thing we have to do after we've learned to think on purpose and feel on purpose is we learn to take control of our time so that we can fit in all of those actions, all of those things we want. That's why it's called grow, right? Because that's the point where we've done all of these things. We're ready to grow. We're ready to take that action and we're ready to progress in our life and make it better. So these steps are in the specific order for a very important reason, because these are the steps that make this effective. Everything that we covered in this program, all of those goals that you just set are here, right? This is the foundational work that will make all of those things happen for you. So I want to talk about quickly what's included in my program. So when you join the Life in the Driver's Seat program, you get weekly one-on-one coaching calls. So it's 3 months, we do one-on-one coaching calls, and this is where we dive deep. Like me and you, we dive deep. What is keeping you from getting what you want? Let's do it. Okay, every time you come and you haven't done your actions, it's like we figure out why. We dig deep into all of these things. You also get video modules for 3 months covering this whole process. You get lifetime access to this. This is deep work that will 100% change everything about how you show up in your life. Like this is here, you learn a repeatable process that you can keep using for the rest of your life to keep making change and keep setting goals, okay? So that you don't always need me. We set you up for success for the rest of your life. Okay, you also get the Life in the Driver's Seat workbook, which is amazing. It really helps you do this work on a deep level. And something I want to say too, I have so many people who are like, Jacqueline, your podcast changed my life and your videos and all of these things. And I want to say showing up, and then I have people who sign up for coaching and they're like, whoa. It's like a totally different experience when you are in the program. You're actually saying yes to yourself. You're committing to yourself. You're saying yes to change. You show up in a different way, okay? So you get the Life in the Driver's Seat workbook and you're doing this work on a deep level. And then again, like I said, you get lifetime access to the course materials so that you can keep using them forever. And now I quickly want to ask you guys, like, when you look at this past 3 days and you look at all of the goals that you've set, I want you to ask yourself, like, what would the impact be on your life if all of your planned goals were met in 2023? So you look at all those goals you set for the entire year of 2023. And inside you might have like doubt. You might be like, yeah, I've set goals in the past, like it's probably not gonna work, right? I'm excited about it, it's probably not gonna work. I want you to really ask yourself, like, what would the impact be on your life if all of those goals were met? If it was done, 100% guaranteed it was done. What would the impact be on your life 1 year from now if all of those things were done? You achieved all of those goals. And what would the impact be if you were the person who was able to do that? Like you became the person capable of using the tools and creating that success, and you were able to do that for the rest of your life? Like, what would that impact be if you were that person who was able to do that? So I want you to really think about that, like what the impact would be. What would it be on you? What would it be on your spouse? What would it be on your kids? Okay, what would your kids see in you? Like, what would the impact be if all of those goals were met in 2023? And I want to invite you to take action on that so that we can make that happen. We can make that a reality. And I want to invite you to schedule a free breakthrough call. So this is risk-free. And on this call, we're going to discuss where you are right now, where you are currently, and what your goals and desires are for 2023. Like, I want to hear all about it. I want to hear, what do you want your next year to look like? What does it look like right now? What do you want your next year to look like? And then we'll talk about a clear plan, like how we can actually make that happen, and how my coaching and my program can help you get there and make success inevitable. Like, this can be the year that things are different, that things change for you. So to book a call, just go to JacquelineEmery.com/consult. And again, I don't know if you can see that. It's just JacquelineEmery, my name, .com/consult. And I am really looking forward to, I hope that these 3 days was beneficial to you, and I hope it really sparked something in you to take action and move forward, because I would love to connect on a call with you. And I thought, let's make 2023 your best year yet. Let's do it. It can be fun, it can be simple, it can be life-changing. Okay, I love you guys, and I will talk to you soon. Put any questions in the comments, or feel free to always shoot me a message at any time. All right, and I'm happy to chat with you. Okay, I love you guys. Bye.